Canelo Alvarez remains steadfast in his refusal to bow to Turki Alalshikh's demands, leading to a significant fallout between the two. Turki Alalshikh, an influential boxing dealmaker, has officially severed ties with Canelo due to ongoing business disagreements, particularly concerning potential future fights with heavyweight boxers. Recently, Alalshikh has been active in the United States, overseeing the launch of the Riyadh season.
Canelo, Johnny Boy Boxing, Flight High. I just want to ask you, what do you think about Terence Crawford? What do we think about Terence Crawford's performance, and do you want to get a fight with him?
If the money is right, I mean...
$100 million? I heard Turkey offered you a big money already.
150.
150?
Canelo Alvarez and Turki Alalshikh have recently found themselves embroiled in a public feud that has captivated the boxing world. The dispute centers around a business disagreement concerning potential future fights, particularly Canelo's steadfast refusal to engage in certain matchups that Alalshikh was aggressively promoting. Prominent boxing promoter Eddie Hearn, who has been closely involved with Canelo, weighed in on the situation, noting that Canelo is one of the rare fighters who can afford to say no to Alalshikh. Hearn pointed out that most fighters would leap at the opportunity to work with Alalshikh, given the substantial financial incentives. However, he also acknowledged Canelo's determination to maintain control over his career, a reflection of the Mexican fighter's strong will and well-established status in the sport. During an event covered by World Boxing News on Saturday at Stadium, Alalshikh stated, "If he's smart, he'll accept the deal to box Bud Crawford." Alalshikh is also backing the UFC No Chase show on September 14th in Las Vegas, which coincides with Canelo's return to the ring against Edgar Berlanga. Addressing the scheduling conflict between mixed martial arts and boxing, Alalshikh boldly claimed that he and the UFC would overshadow Canelo and his event. In response to Alalshikh's public and private provocations, Canelo told World Boxing News and other reporters at a press event on Tuesday at the Beverly Hills Hotel in LA, "I don't like the way he talks about boxing." While Canelo emphasized his respect for everyone, he firmly added that if Alalshikh wants to work with him, it must be on his terms. The ongoing power struggle between one of boxing's biggest stars and the sport's newest influential figure highlights a stark contrast in approach, particularly when compared to promoters like Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren, who have been more accommodating to Alalshik's demands.
Because it's undermining the integrity of the sport. If you call in this guy, people like you, the face of boxing, and that is what you're projecting to the world, a sport where a guy can just avoid the better fighters and cherry pick other guys coming up in weight, coming down in weight. It just makes a mockery.
I actually think the face
it makes a mockery of the sport. If Canelo does not want to abide by that type of thing and be a real champion, then there's one option. Give up the belts, go into semi-retirement, or do exhibitions like what
Many people in the boxing community have criticized Canelo Alvarez, accusing him of making a mockery of the sport, especially in contrast to fighters like Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, and Dimitri Bivol, who have all competed in Saudi Arabia at least once. Canelo's stance against Turki Alalshikh mirrors that of Gervonta "Tank" Davis. Speaking to World Boxing News and other reporters ahead of his June fight with Frank Martin, Tank questioned Alalshik's impact on the sport and dismissed any grand plans to unify all promoters under one deal, saying it would never materialize. During a press huddle this week, Canelo addressed the situation, stating, "My response to Turkey is this. Yesterday they texted me and said we can talk about the fight in February with Crawford. I replied, look, I don't want to talk about any other fight. I'm focused on this fight. I don't like the way he talks. If he wants to work with me, it's my way. I don't need it. It's not the way to approach me." The highly anticipated Canelo vs. Berlanga fight is scheduled for September 14th at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas and will be broadcast as a premier boxing champions pay-per-view on Prime Video. Meanwhile, Alalshikh has publicly accused Canelo of dodging tough fights, particularly with Crawford and David Benavidez, opting instead for easier opponents. Despite the accusations, Canelo remains firmly in control of his career, rejecting Alalshik's proposals and securing a lucrative $35 million purse per fight in a surprising turn of events. Canelo was promoting his upcoming September 14th fight against Edgar Berlanga. When asked about a potential offer from Alalshikh to fight Terence Crawford, Alvarez made his discontent clear. While he was dismissive of fighting Crawford due to the difference in weight class, he did not entirely rule out the possibility, stating that he would consider the fight if the price was right. However, Alalshikh continues to accuse Canelo of avoiding challenging fights, reinforcing the ongoing tension between the two.
Yeah, of course, like you guys asking for Golovkin, and I did. No, and it was a risk too, because I'm my first fight in 160. So he just bring 25 pounds more to the table, and it's a risk fight. But I can beat that guy. But no, in that way. I always did.
With the potential matchup against Crawford now off the table and Benavidez moving up to 175 pounds after being frustrated by his inability to secure a bout with Alvarez, Alalshikh's options for arranging a high-profile fight involving Alvarez appear increasingly limited. Alvarez has faced accusations of avoiding 50 to 50 fights and is reportedly considering matchups with Chris Eubank Jr., Jermall Charlo, and other opponents in which he is expected to be a heavy favorite. Despite the criticism, the Mexican star continues to exert control over his career choices, securing a guaranteed purse of $35 million per fight.
I'm not the only one who thinks Canelo is an arrogant piece of Turki Alalshikh recently revealed that Canelo refused to meet with him in person and isn't entertaining any deals to be done with him. Why? Because he's outpriced himself so much that the Saudis don't even want to deal with him. And it's all because he will do anything not to fight David Benavidez.
Oscar de la Hoya, who has a long history with Canelo, mentioned that the situation with Alec is just business. He pointed out that disagreements over fight negotiations are not uncommon in boxing, especially when big personalities and big money are involved. De la Hoya also emphasized that Canelo has always been very clear about what he wants and how he wants to proceed with his career, suggesting that this independence is a key part of his identity as a fighter. De La Hoya criticized the Canelo versus Berlanga fight and weighed in on Turki Alalshikh. He remarked that Canelo is an arrogant piece of Turkey. Alalshikh recently revealed that Canelo refused to meet with him in person. The man behind Riyadh season and a major force in boxing, Alalshikh, posted a new update on social media on Tuesday, stating that he is no longer pursuing a Crawford-Alvarez fight. Canelo, on the other hand, dismissed Alalshikh's approach, stating he doesn't appreciate his negotiating style. Alvarez claimed he never sought the fight and that if it happens, it will be on his terms. Look, Turkey is trying to make the fights that everyone wants to see, and Canelo continues to take the fights that nobody wants to see, De La Hoya said. This brings us to Edgar Berlanga, who is set to fight Canelo on September 14th. Berlanga claims he has the whole country behind him. De La Hoya responded, "Edgar, bro, you're from Brooklyn? I think I am more Puerto Rican than you are, and I only lived there for 6 years. Puerto Rico doesn't claim you, bro." Alvarez will defend his WBC, WBA, and WBO super middleweight world titles against the undefeated contender Edgar Berlanga on Saturday, September 14th, at T-Mobile Arena. On the upcoming bout, De La Hoya commented, "As I said weeks ago, this fight will not go well on September 14th, not only because the matchup is okay, but because they're going up against the UFC's debut at the Sphere in Las Vegas. Now that's a spectacle that everyone and their mother has been waiting to see since it opened up about a year ago. And who's funding it and making it happen? Turki Alalshikh. Canelo, you're really making the wrong enemies." De La Hoya also questioned the Mexico versus Puerto Rico narrative for the fight, pointing out that Berlanga is actually from New York. Saudi Arabian boxing kingpin Turki Alalshikh has accused Canelo Alvarez of seeking easier fights and wasting their time after the Mexican superstar demanded $118 million to fight Terence Crawford, while Canelo demanded $150 million for that fight. Speculation of a super fight between Alvarez and Crawford ramped up after the latter dethroned Israel Madrimov to claim the WBA and vacant WBO super welterweight world titles. Alalshikh even extended an offer to Alvarez's camp the same day as Crawford's bout against Madrimov. Such was his desire to stage the fight. "I decided to disregard the Canelo fight as I don't want it anymore," Alalshikh, the chairman of Saudi Arabia's General Entertainment Authority, wrote on X. Alvarez, who defended his stance, told Fight Hype, "I'm good with what I'm doing. I don't need that kind of thing. I'm not looking for that kind of fight. If they want to fight, okay, it's my way, not their way." Alvarez's statement sparked a fiery response from Alec, who sensationally claimed the Mexican is only interested in making easy, show-only fights. "I heard that Canelo said that he respects me but doesn't like the way we do business," Alalshikh wrote on X. He further added, "Therefore, I knew he was wasting our time and making excuses with big amounts of money that can't be paid." Alalshikh emphasizes that he is focused on organizing significant boxing matches that benefit the sport, whereas others are content with less challenging, show-oriented bouts. He also mentioned that while Canelo claims to respect him, he clearly doesn't agree with his business approach.
You know, your weekend.
No, I don't have problem with that. I'm good. I'm just doing my thing, and I don't have problem with Dana, and I don't have problem with the UFC. I think we both gonna have to in September 14.
Canelo, do you think he's making this personal by talking what he's talking?
Yeah, it's personal, yeah.
Okay.
Not, for me, I'm not mad, but I'm excited to put my hands on.
While mentioning Dana White and the UFC, Canelo Alvarez stated that he has no issues with them and is even open to fighting against any opponent if the UFC is willing to sponsor him. This rift between Canelo and Turki Alalshikh has escalated to the point where Alalshikh has decided to sever ties with the Mexican boxing superstar, a move that could potentially impact future negotiations and matchups. Despite this, Canelo remains unfazed, continuing to focus on his upcoming bout and maintaining his status as one of boxing's biggest stars. The ongoing feud underscores the tension between a boxer's desire to control their career and the business demands imposed by modern boxing promoters. Meanwhile, Virgil Ortiz Jr. must first overcome S. Bohachuk on August 10th as they battle for the interim WBC super welterweight title. Alalshikh has already declared that Ortiz Jr., the Texan knockout artist, would get the next shot at Terence Crawford if Canelo had not taken the fight. Alalshikh has rapidly established himself as one of the biggest names in boxing, investing millions to host mega fights in Saudi Arabia. The nation has already been the stage for major events, including Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou, Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk, as well as the 5-on-5 battle between Matchroom and Queensberry Promotions.
What did his breath smell like up there? We were pretty close. What does breath smell like?
Like shit. Like fucking donkey balls, bro.
What about
you
him,
mentioned
like, did you have to start? Why did you feel like you had to start kind of talking shit to him, kind of getting under his skin? What was it about, like, the energy that you felt it was on for you to say something?
Nah, because he just got a guia. I kept saying guia in Spanish. That's like a cocky dude. He's cocky. That's why Mexicans don't like him. That's why he wanted, because he think, you know, he a diva. He a diva. He's the type of dude that if a side of his shirt is not iron, he's gonna be wild. Oh my god, oh my shit is not. He's like that. I don't like dudes like these.
Edgar Berlanga says Mexicans don't like Canelo and calls him a diva after a heated face-off. Canelo, who has gained headlines this week for being the first notable name in boxing to not immediately bend the knee to Saudi promoter Turki Alalshikh Sims, is a massive favorite in this fight, listed currently at -400 by DraftKings Sportsbook, but Berlanga feels he can continue his winning ways in what will be his first pro fight as an underdog, and a huge one at that. Berlanga told Matchroom, "Tell him to come out first round swinging, watch what's going to happen to him. I'll put him on his ass, I give him 6, that's a fact I've already been studying. He likes to run around the first 2-3 rounds to feel you out," he continued. "But let him try to open up after that, let him try to open up and see what's going to happen to him. I'm going to put him nasty." You heard Berlanga, of course, gain some promotional momentum from ESPN and Top Rank when he started his career, with 16 straight first-round stoppage wins, but as soon as that streak inevitably came to a close in 2021, so did much of the hype. He won 5 straight fights by decision before stopping Padraig McCrory in February of this year, and along the way parted with Top Rank to sign with Matchroom with the Canelo fight his clear focus.
Talk all the crazy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up weight and won. He went up and lost. You know, so let's not do that, Canelo.
Terence viewed that Canelo is afraid of him, that time has come for him, and he'll get what he's been talking about ever since he first gained a little notoriety several years ago. Terence Crawford made it clear that he's laser-focused on forging his own path in boxing rather than chasing big-name fights to bolster his legacy. During a recent podcast, Crawford candidly shared his thoughts on Canelo Alvarez, stating, "I'm a threat to his legacy. Imagine a guy who started at 135 pounds, climbing all the way up to 168, your weight, no catch weight, no compromises, and dethroning you. That would be something crazy." Crawford didn't hold back in praising Canelo's skills, acknowledging he's tough, he's a boxer, he moves well, he can punch, and he can do it all, but he also emphasized the challenge and potential shock of such a fight, framing it as an ultimate test for both men. This kind of talk shows just how determined Crawford is to challenge himself against the best, all while staying true to his career goals. He's not just looking for any fight, he's looking to create moments that could redefine his and Canelo's legacies.
I'm still, you know, doing what I do. Canelo, he got a fight coming up, so I never want to make it about me and Canelo. Just like when I was getting ready for my fight, you know, I felt it was disrespectful for Eddie Hearns to lie and say, "Oh, we had to use your name to promote the fight." You know, we didn't use Canelo's name to promote shit.
Well, he's trying to stay friends with him. He's trying to stay friends.
No, but it was he trying to stay friends with him, but it's disrespectful to me
While Crawford expressed frustration over the financial demands from Canelo's side, the podcast also touched on how this matchup is perceived in the broader boxing community, with many considering it a dream fight due to the clash of two elite fighters from different weight classes.
I'm proud about my people, my Mexican people. And I'm proud about it. I don't get any wrong with them, but I like to fight in those days.
So, how are you? All good?
Good.
Edgar Berlanga calling you a motherfucker up on the stage. It was more respectful yesterday. Are you surprised by how he behaved?
He's nervous, and we need to understand that. He's nervous.
Talking about his next fights, Canelo said he wants a tough fight, but his demands are quite high. Mentioning Berlanga, he said he is nervous about fighting with me. Canelo will be defending his WBC, WBA, and WBO super middleweight titles in the fight. He has never been stopped in his career, with the potential matchup against Crawford already off the table and Benavidez moving up to 175 pounds after frustrations of not being able to secure a bout with Alvarez. Alalshikh's options for a high-profile bout with Alvarez appear limited. Alvarez has been accused of avoiding 50 to 50 fights and is considering fights with Chris Eubank Jr., Jermall Charlo, and other opponents in which he is expected to be a huge favorite. The Mexican star is maintaining his control over his career choices with a guaranteed purse of $35 million per fight. What are your thoughts on Canelo's decision? Is he right on his stance? We are excited to know your point of view. Let us know in the comments. Also, share the video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.